Hey everyone, today I'm going to be giving a brief rundown of what to be looking for in terms of portions, as well as what foods you want to be including more of and less of. So, the first thing I'm going to start with is using hand portions. So, this is a bit like counting macros, except you're not using a food scale or measuring cups or exact measurements. Instead, you're using a fully customized measuring tool that's transportable, and that happens to be your hand. So, a really easy way to quantify a serving of all of the macros is listed right here. So, the first one is protein. And if you look at your palm, a serving of protein is about the size of your palm. A serving of vegetables is about one fist's worth. A serving of carbs is a cupped hand, and carbs can include fruit as well. And then a serving of fats is about one thumb, or about a tablespoon. And these equate to 3 to 4 ounces of protein, about 1 cup of veggies, a half to 2/3 cup of cooked grains, and about 1 tablespoon of fat in this little conversion table down here. So each meal, you want to start by including 1 to 2 palms of protein, 1 to 2 fists of veggies, 1 to 2 cupped handfuls of carbs, and 1 to 2 thumbs of fats. So the next thing I'm going to show you is which foods count as which macro or which category. But just to start off, we're looking for balanced meals because when you have a protein, carb, fat, and a veggie at every meal, they help each other digest and get absorbed better in your body. And it also helps with insulin and keeping your blood sugar steady throughout the day. So we want to have a balanced portion on each plate. So when you look at your plate, you should see a protein, carb, veggie, and a fat. And like this sheet says, it's just a starting point. So for women, they recommend to start with 4 to 6 palms or 4 to 6 servings of each of these foods per day. But it's going to be different for every single person depending on your activity level, your height, your age, your weight, stress levels, so many different things. So the biggest thing that I always say to start with is having balance. So even if you have, let's say, 1.5 palms of protein, then you're going to want about 1.5 fists of starchy veggies or non-starchy veggies, 1.5 cupped handfuls of carbs, and 1.5 thumbs of fat. So having balance that is fairly equal throughout all of the macronutrients is where you want to be starting. For men, of course, the starting point is a little bit higher, 6 to 8 servings of each of these macros or food categories, however you want to look at it. It obviously depends. And that is just a starting point too. So you want to load your plate with balanced macros and balanced nutrient intake. But the biggest thing is still eating slowly and stopping when you're satisfied. So these aren't like end all be all, you must eat this amount of food each day or at each meal. But this is just a starting point for building high nutrient density meals. So to look at the foods that go into these categories, now that we know what we're looking for in terms of portions, there's a really great way to kind of assess your food and categorize it. So green light foods or the eat more foods are foods that are less processed, they have higher nutrient quality, they are more likely to make you feel good or be less likely to have an allergic reaction or sensitivity to. And we want to be eating more of those green light foods. So foods for protein be eggs and egg whites, fish, shellfish, chicken, duck thighs, duck breast, turkey, more of these leaner meats and less processed protein options. And then in the orange light or yellow light, however you want to look at it, it's the eat some category. Those are a little bit more processed, so more fatty meats, processed meats, like your sausages and lunch meats and stuff like that, protein powder, dairy, sources of protein. Those are things that are They're not going to make you sick, most likely, but they are something you don't want to be including at every single meal. So those are the eat some category, or yellow light foods. And then the red light foods, or the eat less of, that we want to pretty much avoid if we can, is the fried foods. So fried meats, processed like fast food, chicken fingers, chicken nuggets, sausages that are very fatty, higher fat meats. These are just things that are more likely to make you feel icky and not have as much nutrient density or nutrient quality. So that's the red light foods. And you can make your own chart as well if you find that a certain food makes you feel really good and have a lot of energy. Then you could put it in the eat some category. You can make this, you can customize it. That's what I'm trying to say. So those are some protein examples of what counts as protein and would fit into the category of protein. So now we're going on to carbohydrates. The green light foods, again, are less processed. So beans and lentils, steel-cut oats, buckwheat, all of these grains, sweet potatoes, like very starchy root veggies, those are all in the eat more category. And then eat some, we have rice, couscous, granola, juices, instant oats, milk. You can read through this, but those are quality sources, but just not as high quality. They're a little bit more processed. Again, the eat less is these very processed canned foods or canned fruits with added sugar, cereal bars, fruit juices, crackers, soda, all of those things. All right. Oh, and cake and muffin down here too. So very processed. You want to avoid those if you can, unless you notice that they make you feel really good, which in most cases, when you slow down and really savor and pay attention to what your body's telling you, most people find that the more processed foods do cause some like discomfort, whether it's a headache or fatigue or stomach ache, whatever it may be. So I challenge you to slow down and really pay attention to what foods make you feel good. Okay, on to fats. So green light foods or eat more foods, extra virgin olive oil. Number one, best cooking oil. I think everyone should use it if they don't have a sensitivity to it and can afford it. Extra virgin olive oil. Avocados, avocado oil, walnut oil. You can make your own homemade dressings, pistachios, chia seeds, cashews. All of those are great fat sources. And then we have the fat sources that are a little bit less nutrient dense and more likely to cause inflammation because of their ratio of omega-6 to 3. And some of them break down with the higher heat faster. So like canola oil, sesame oil, peanut oil, flaxseed, we want a little bit less of those if we can avoid them. And you see dark chocolate falls into this category too. And then the eat less are the oils and butters and fats that don't really have a ton of nutrient density and won't add a lot of value to your meals. And then as far as vegetables, you want to be eating as wide a variety as you possibly can, because the more colorful and more diverse your vegetables are, the more nutrients that you're going to be exposed to. And you can have fun with this, like pick a red veggie one day or literally eat the rainbow. Like experiment, try stuff. If you don't like it, cross it off, but find some things that you really enjoy and that are fun to eat. So that is all. Just to recap, the portions, use your hand as a portion guide. Look for balance in all of your meals. And then lean towards the green light foods and the foods that make you feel good. But just remember that no food is good or bad. It's just more or less nutrient dense, or it adds more value to your life. That's how I like to look at it. And have fun with this. Keep a food journal if you want to really get into the nitty-gritty. Keep a food journal of what makes you feel good, what you like. Start keeping track of recipes that you really enjoy. And yeah, good luck. Reach out to me if you have any questions or would like to know more.